In some games, if you slash a sword, all that matters is that you hit your target. Some more immersive combat systems may reward you for hitting certain weak points. But in this game, your success doesn't just depend on where you hit your target, but your technique. This indie classic might have the most simple but unique weapons-based combat systems ever designed. I should also mention that it's free on Steam, features over 50 different weapons, and can run on a potato. The history of Hammer Fight, or just Hammer Fight, is a physics-based aerial combat game and an indie classic released in 2009. Combat is entirely mouse-based, and the strength of your attacks depends entirely on which weapons you choose and how you use your momentum. Early stages will give you a weapon to use for the fight, while later stages will usually let you choose from your own arsenal of weapons. You can use coins collected during fights to expand your collection. Weapons are divided into 3 broad categories: swords, which tend to be light, hammers, which tend to be heavy, and flails, which tend to be heavy and flexible. Things get really interesting when you realize that you can wield 2 weapons at once, changing the balance of your flying machine. You can even combine 2 weapons together, which changes combat even more, as you need to adjust your swings to compensate. As far as I know, any 2 melee weapons can be combined. You can also equip armor to protect yourself from attacks, and guns or enchanted gems, but I prefer melee weapons. Much of the combat requires you to battle other flying machine pilots, though you will likely need to hunt various flying monsters as well, and sometimes flying automatons. Hammer Fight features a branching storyline, which allows you to choose your path, which enemies you will battle, and the difficulty of the encounters you will face. The setting and art are surprisingly immersive for a combat-focused game, with additional lore shown between chapters. I first played Hammer Fight in 2011 when it was part of the 3rd Humble Indie Bundle. You could buy the full bundle of 12 games, some including soundtracks and art books, for around $5 or more, with the ability to decide that all of your purchase went towards their listed charities, which in this case were the Electronic Frontier Foundation and Child's Play. The early Humble bundles had a voluntary leaderboard where buyers could compete over who made the largest purchase. Notch of Minecraft, Gary of Gary's Mod, and other famous netizens were known for their generous contributions. Honestly, Hammer Fight would have been worth $5 by itself, and now it's free on Steam, though it's worth mentioning that the game went up to version 1.004 on Steam, but the version from Humble Indie Bundle 3 was version 1.005, which included cheats and an additional game mode. It's possible to patch the Steam version with files downloaded from Humble, but finding a copy is up to you, of course. In 2015, the game's community learned that the developers were planning a spiritual successor, High Fleet. Released in 2021, it's not the sequel that many speculated it would be, but it's a well-liked and successful game in its own right with excellent reviews. The early Humble Indie bundles are a trove of obscure but fun games, and I might choose another one to feature in my next video. For those of you who watched my last video about Codename Gordon, I'm sorry to say I don't have any updates. I haven't heard back yet from Gabe Newell, nor have I heard back from Valve, though I do have a few more things up my sleeve. If you're curious about my plan to revive Codename Gordon, or if you know someone at Valve who you can send it to, make sure to check out my last video on the subject. Thanks for watching.